Baby, I'm the gamble of your life. Why you always gotta think twice? We could go at it all night. Till the morning till you can't even go no more.
Nathaniel, Matt talked at the start of the week, and you guys wanted to keep things normal. That said, how important or how has it helped that you coached in a championship week, that Mike's coached in a championship week, Matt has as well? So this is nothing new either. So how has that experience maybe helped keep it normal?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you approach every week the same. I think when you change it up or anything like that, the players sense that. Obviously, they're high stakes, but really, let's face it, every game has a lot of high stakes. It doesn't matter when it is. So just about us being consistent. We want everybody to be consistent, and we preach that, and so we kind of have to be the ones that start that.
Obviously, you guys study every defensive coordinator in defense, but does it help at all that Matt knows Robert so well?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things it's a very unique defense. Started in Seattle and started kind of spreading out across the league. So I think because it's so unique and has some intricacies about it, it allows you to kind of understand where you can attack certain areas. They obviously know their weaknesses too, so you have to be kind of careful attacking them too much. But it definitely helps just to understand the rules and the principles of it.
Obviously not much went right for you guys in that first game. Is there a thing or two that's like front and center on your list that we've got to do, A, B, and C for a better result?
Tried to black that game out a long time ago. But I think it's kind of been, when you look at just how the offense has played throughout the season, it's really just starts with ourselves and just not hurting ourselves. I think that if we can just kind of do our job, take care of our business, and not have minus plays or just mental errors, I think that's going to be huge. So we just have to focus on doing our job. We talk about hearing the call, knowing the call, and doing your job. I think that's so important, and as long as we do that, we'll have a much better chance. I think we just hurt ourselves too much, especially early in the game.
Have you seen that the last 6 games that everything you
It's
just talked
definitely
about
gone
is
down
showing
a
up?
lot. I would say I give a lot of credit to the players. Since that game, they've really locked it in, and mental errors have gone way down. Just kind of understanding what we're trying to accomplish and then being able to go and play fast, because that's the key. To be able to play fast, you have to be prepared and know what you got to do first. I think they've done a really good job these past couple weeks.
Nathaniel, Rogers said that you guys have made some really good adjustments in the Seahawks game that helped the offense. Do you think that was at all something you looked at in the San Francisco game, that maybe you didn't do adjustments, or were you even able to get to that?
I once again, I look at that game as it was just bad from the jump. So, they're a very good football team. They're defensively. That's obviously what we look at the most. They're phenomenal across the board. And I think when you start having some self-inflicted wounds, you can't do that versus a good football team. So I think that's kind of the starting point from there. Adjustments, we're always trying to get certain adjustments, play things off of things that we do. Last week I thought we had a couple good ones that we were able to capitalize on, and we just got to continue to do that.
Just this week entering a game where you guys are big underdogs, going to someone else's stadium feels similar to when you guys went to Foxborough with the Jaguars. And do you like it that way, entering a big game when I don't want to generalize too much, but when not many people expect you guys to win?
I feel like that's how it's been the whole season. I think, looking at it from the very beginning, there's been question marks all over the place. And it's great because, we block out the noise. It's just about what we want to do and what we want to accomplish. And I think all the guys have really, put their heads down and worked, picked up the system better and better throughout the season. And, it's about us just executing and do a good job. It's always fun to be an underdog. You just kind of go in there and go to work and see what happens.
Nathaniel, speaking of underdogs, Devontae made a reference yesterday where he kind of talking about his path. And he wasn't sure if he was a one-star recruit or what he was. Just from that narrow perspective of his personality, because we know he's a great player, but is he one of the more driven guys that you've been, that just strikes me as one of the key components of his personality. Do you see that? Or?
Yeah, I think you always want a player that is striving for more. And I think that whenever they have to go through adversity at some point, that always makes them hungry, it makes them more coachable, and makes them want to be great. I think when you kind of look throughout the past of all the great players, there's always something that, they feel like they have to prove themselves every day, even if they are a great player. no matter what, you always feel like you got to do something more. I think Devontae is one of those guys, and we got a lot of those guys on the team.
So the Ravens offense is obviously kind of in its own separate category, but is there anything you can look at from the Falcons and the Seahawks win over the 49ers that could be helpful?
Yeah, we've looked at it. Even teams that have lost and scored a lot of points on them, there's certain things that you can take from that. The Ravens did a really nice job. The Seahawks, it came down to the wire both games. So I think there's always things you can pull from a little bit from every single game. Everybody has some good plans, but I mean, in the end, I think the best thing that the Niners do is they create so many one-on-ones. And in the end, it's going to be about winning one-on-ones and trying to get guys open. So that's going to be kind of the key.
Nathaniel, are you better equipped to handle their four-man rush when you have a healthy Brian Bulaga after kind of what you went through in that game? But, Jared was great on Sunday. I don't want to deride him, but are you a different offensive line when you have Brian healthy and out there? Oh,
I think so. I think Brian's had a very good football season up to this point, and we just got to keep that going. Obviously, great adjustment by Jared going in there and getting after it and giving us a chance to win. But, I mean, obviously Brian's a veteran guy that's been there. He's won a lot of games, been in a lot of playoff games. So just that presence, having him out there, is always something that you want.
Has it been fun to integrate Swerve, I believe you guys call him, Tyler into the mix, and what does he bring to you guys?
It is. He's got juice now. I mean, it's one of those things, you see it when he gets out in open space, just even on the kickoff returns, all those different aspects of the game. But he's definitely a guy that when he has the ball in his hand, you don't know what's going to happen. So I think that he's a guy that it's exciting to have him out on the field. We're lucky to have him.
Nathaniel, will you see, or when you look back at all 49ers games, do you see them with more of a blitz package than Seattle does? They seem to be more static with
It depends on the situation. Typically on third down, they definitely like to bring about 5 guys typically to create those one-on-ones. They're really talented, so that's what they're always trying to look for, that one-on-one, to be able to try to get after you, whether it be a DB being able to get after a wide receiver or a D lineman getting after an O lineman. So I think that's one of the big challenges for us, is getting that ball out as fast as we can and winning across the board. And it goes for everybody, whether it be a running back having to block a linebacker or win on a route. So I think in those situations, that's where they really like to bring some extra pressure. But it always changes with us. You never know.
Nathaniel, as coaches, do you guys have to, if Devontae has a game like he had on Sunday, do you go into the next week's preparation going, okay, there's, not that they wouldn't be paying attention to it to begin with, but even more so, and do you have to kind of come up with some different ideas?
Yeah, you always have to think about that. I mean, even looking at, him having that good game, I mean, he's had a couple really good ones this year, and, people are always aware of where he's at. So it allows, hopefully, for some other people to have opportunities to win. I thought Jimmy Graham came up big for us. Gmo came up big, but obviously if they're going to want to take him away, it's going to leave some other people an opportunity. And so we just got to be sure we capitalize on that.
After halftime of the first meeting in week 12, there were a couple of drives you guys had at the beginning of the second half where lengthy drives, shorter games. Was that one of the adjustments at halftime to try to get the ball out quicker?
Obviously, you're always wanting to get rid of the ball pretty quick, and especially when you're playing the 49ers. So I think that was one of those things. Aaron started taking advantage of those to be able to get us to move down the field. That's definitely something that we want to do, but we still always have to have that threat of being able to throw the ball down the field. So it's got to be a mix of everything.
Nathaniel, I don't know Jimmy very well. I don't think any of us on this side do, but he's a veteran player who's done a lot of great things. But does a game like he had with the clutch catches he had, does that do anything for even a veteran player who maybe can use a boost of confidence when his season hasn't gone quite?
I think it's for anybody. I mean, that's the best part about this game, when a guy gets hot and you're able to continually feed him, and I think that's great for him. That's great for the whole team. I mean, anybody that we can get going, and I think it was just great that in those critical times he stepped up and made some great plays, some great throws from Aaron, great protection, and we just got to keep riding that.
Baby, I'm the gamble of your life. Why you always gotta think twice? We could go at it all night. Set 'em on till you can't even go no more. You like it, don't even deny it.